G'day everyone, Reef from VerdaVap here, dropping in to just give another little update here on the stem design, and just sort of my thought process and where we're at. So about a week ago, I posted in the Discord that I wanted to start working on stem design, and I asked for some input. Like what kind of stem would you guys want? We got the input over here, you can see. But before we go into that, I'm just gonna run through how a Dynavap stem works, just for you guys, so you understand, because it's not as apparent as it may seem. I would say. So we have multiple parts. This is like the standard Dynavap stem. And actually, let me just draw on this blue. So you can see here, yeah, airports, right? So there's a hole here. So the air goes in this bit here, and then this sleeve, this tube here, actually goes in the stem, as you guys would know if you have a Dynavap. So how the air flows, being mindful this is in the stem here. So the air goes in here, and then it goes around the outside of this, right? And then it hits this point here and goes zip straight out here, and then that's like you're inhaling it there, right? And now what that does is it displaces the air in this section here, right? And what that does is pull, like kind of like a venturi, it pulls the vapor down from this bit here. So there's vapor here, cool air, well, this should be blue, cool air getting pulled in, gets heated up, and then vapor here, and there's vapor down here, and then when this air gets pulled through, it displaces it and pulls air and vapor through this path. So you've got multiple things here. You've got the airport here, essentially how big this hole is here is kind of like the ratio of air to vapor that you inhale, you know. So if you want more vapor, then you would like cover the airport a little bit more, right? And you'd be getting more vapor in the inhalation, than you would air. So you can kind of tailor it to how you want it. Um, so the next logical step up here, so we'll go back here, so you can see Happy Puppy says something like a revolve or a helix. So the revolve, I looked into this, and the revolve. This is the revolve Gen 2. So this is by a company called Mad Heaters, and how this works is this is like really just like this is the logical step up from the typical Dynavap stem. So you can see the air intake comes in through here, this portion goes in, and then it's the same thing. So cold air goes in, same thing here, and then venturi, and it displaces the air here, and then same thing, it's pulling the vapor down from the top part here. This is like the Dynavap, cap or whatever is that. The big improvement they've added here is the helix along the edge, and this part is just like basically what it does is it instead of the air just getting pulled directly through this path and out, it just increases the surface area and kind of throws the air like cyclical around and pushes it out towards the edge of the vapor path here, and helps cool the air and really just increases the surface area and helps cool the vapor. Um, and it's a logical improvement from this one here. There's no ridges here, so that the airflow is just kind of is smooth on the inside of this vapor path here. It doesn't have any sort of movement. Um, so you just increase the vapor path by adding these helixes. Uh, Another improvement that's been made is you can see this part here. the airport, this all rotates within the vapor path here, and this airport is adjustable. So you don't need to, say, hold your finger over the airport like you would with a VerdaVap. You can kind of just rotate it to the amount of opening that you would want, and that's how you adjust it. And then they've made one more improvement down here. So you can see there's two sections. You've got one small port here, and then kind of like a bigger port here. And this little piece, let me just get a different pen. What's this pen? There's a colorful pen or something. Galaxy pen. This piece here rotates within here, so you can adjust the airport at this point, sort of here as well. So you can adjust like the draw restriction. So if you want it to be like a very, you've really got to inhale, like draw hard, then you can reduce the airflow here. And yeah, so you reduce the airflow here for draw restriction, and then you adjust the airflow here to adjust the ratio of air to vapor, basically. And then in an ideal world, you would also adjust the airflow at the air intake above the vapor chamber as well, to choose whether you wanted more of like a vacuum on this side of the vapor path, if that makes sense. So yeah, that this is like the logical step up, but we can't. We can't just mimic this design and copy it, because can't just do that. Too blatant. And yeah, it's a good design though. So so someone here, Clown Fella, has said, look at the infinity stem from TS Wooden Art. And I did, and it's really cool as well. And my thinking as well, because I was like, all right, we can't just use the helix. This is a good design. Can't do that. I was thinking, I want to have balls inside of the chamber, some sort of capsule that we can put inside of the chamber that holds smaller balls than this, and it'll be used to like catch resin. So to kind of be like a little chamber that's filled with the synthetic ruby balls, small diameter ones, probably like 2 mil or 2.5 mil maybe. And it would be like in air quotes, like a honey pot that would like kind of be like a reclaim catch, and it would fill up, and then after like a couple of days or whatever, you'd be able to just pull this capsule out, put the reclaim honey pot capsule into the vapor chamber, and just like clear it every couple of days or whatever. So it'd be used to cool the vapor path and catch your reclaim. So I'm thinking something like that. And I like this sort of mouth port design. So this facilitates like easy cleaning of the whole vapor path, and if we want to change the different mouthpieces, it gives you like that flexibility. So I do like this concept as well. I'll go over to the CAD and I'll show you sort of where I'm thinking. This is where I'm at with like the airport intake portion of it. So actually, if I quickly just go back to this. So again, as a bit of a recap, we have a few main parts. We have the airport intake. So this chooses the ratio between the fresh air coming in and the vapor, right? And then you have a draw restriction adjustment here. So now in the CAD, what we're looking at is just kind of my take on the air intake adjustment. Not what like the helix does here. The helix is the equivalent of the capsule ball part of my design that I was talking about. But let's have a look at the CAD for the air intake. So it's actually not completely modeled yet. There should be some more holes here, another hole on the other side of this. And this is just like very this is ugly. This is just like functional. This isn't like, it hasn't been done to obviously look good at all. But let me just make this transparent so you can actually kind of see what's going on. So you can see here on the inside, this is the same concept as like the VerdaVap. So the VerdaVap stem, in that the VerdaVap, the stem or the VerdaVap, any vape that you sit in, the VerdaVap, the VerdaVap, they'll all sit in this stem. Uh, it's the standard 8 mil opening here, and then you can see these 4 holes here, right? So I've made the outside kind of shell transparent, and you can kind of see the hole here. So what you do is you rotate this, and that you can see here, that kind of chooses how much of the airflow is coming in. So you're like, I just want a really little bit of airflow, so I want it to be just like all vapor. You just completely shut it, so there's no air coming in, and all the air that's getting pulled through is directly from the it's through the vapor chamber, no fresh air. Or if you're like, I want a little bit of air or a little bit more, and there's going to be multiple of these holes, so there'll be like one here on that side, and then another one on like the other side, and basically, so the fresh air comes in through there, and then around the outside, around the outside of this vapor path, and then down here through these holes. And we've got 4 evenly spaced holes here. So the cool air comes in and then down through the middle of the stem, and it's the same concept where it sort of would be like displacing the vapor here and pulling it through. So like my 4 holes would be like here, sort of, and then have the balls in the vapor path instead of the helix. Something like that. Yeah. You can see here Yogi says, keen to see about the MTL flow caps, which is the mouth to lung flow caps. So basically, just like restricting the air intake at the air intake above the vapor chamber. So basically, this is where the air comes in right above the thermal mass. So what we can do is here, we can just adjust these holes to be whatever we want and adjust the air intake. So I'm going to have multiple different caps with different air intakes, so you can kind of adjust the air intake at that end as well. And in future designs, I'm going to have some sort of idea that sort of infinitely allows you to adjust this airflow. But for now, I'm just going to design these multiple caps that can be screwed on and off to have different air intakes. I'll just put this one back for now. Back to 2mm holes. But yeah, cool. Cheers. Let me know what you think.